A post from Ghana Crimes TV. I was just a child, about 9 or 10 years old when this started. Our house was closer to a filling station, and I became friends with the man that used to run it. He used to send me on errands and gave me money to feed whenever I came back from school. This man managed a filling station and had an office where he received payment and did his paperwork. Whenever he invited me into the office, he would begin to pull and play with my manhood until it became hard. This became the practice for some time until it changed. He would tell me to accompany him to toilet in a bush not very far from his workplace, and while there, he will bend me over and have sex with me through my anus. I was still a kid in basic school, but I never had the courage to protest or even tell my parents. But due to the fact that he always gave me money for food, I always went to his place after school. Several times, he will drive me to his house with the excuse of going to pick something from home and abuse me, and several times I was wounded in my anus. There were times I struggled to even walk properly, but no one noticed. This continued for years until I completed JSS, now JHS, and left home for secondary school in a different town. Even on holidays, he tried to lure me with money and the promise of provisions if I was going back to school so that he could have his way with me. There were times I said no. Sometimes I succumbed to him. Now my struggles, I had an extremely hard time in a boarding school, both in class and in the dormitory. It was worse when I had to share an open bathroom with other boys of my age, with everyone stark naked. Fighting off the urge and attraction towards my mates was hell. In class, I had it difficult sitting at one place for long due to a burning sensation from my back. And there were times I felt myself dripping into my school shorts. It was embarrassing. It was tough. And then I began to skip classes because of what was happening to me. I managed to go through 3 years of secondary education, but my grades suffered. After school, I began to avoid him. I always tried to be far away from him, but the harm had already been done. Throughout my life, I have to fight off the urge of doing it with other boys. I still feel some lacerations in my anus sometimes, even in my adult years. In my life, it suffered because I am almost always avoiding people. I couldn't do much with education. I have never been able to marry because I sometimes imagine